Salams and welcome. Thank you for joining me in another episode of the Quran in English Basics for Beginners. A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Nor come near to adultery, for it is a shameful deed and an evil opening the road to other evils. Right, so let's just get some of our definitions clear when we're talking about adultery. And why is it considered an evil, right? So let's just look very briefly. There's a thing called adultery. There's a thing called zina. Right. So let me use some examples. Now, as we said, from a medical point of view, we regard this as a male and that as a female, right? But I will just use M and F, or we can say husband and wife, whichever way, but let's see how far we can go. So here is a man and here is a woman. That's a man, that's a woman. That's a male, that's a female. And let us say they are married. Now, adultery means if, let's use another couple. Here's another couple who is a man and there is a woman. And they are married. And in society, you have a lot of single men, unmarried. And you have a lot of single women, unmarried, right? So there's a lot of females in the community and a lot of men in the community. These are all single, right? These are single males and single females. Now, adultery, let's start with zina first. Zina means that, say, two children are growing up, 19-year-olds or 18-year-olds or 16-year-olds, and they are not married, and they're having premarital sex. Premarital sex, that is zina. They are not married to each other. They're youngsters. The teenage hormones are flying all over the place, and they decide to have sex. This is known as zina, right? This is not allowed. So that's a single boy having sex with a single girl, premarital. Doesn't matter on the age. There can be two 13-year-olds or two 14-year-olds or two 15-year-olds. It doesn't matter. It can even be a 40-year-old single man having sex with a 40-year-old single woman. That all, as long as they are not married, then that is zina. Now, adultery means here's a man and here's a woman. So this couple and this couple, this man now has sex with this woman. He is having sex with a woman who is not his married partner. That's known as adultery. Or this wife has sex with another married man, and this is adultery. Or a married man has sex with a single girl who is unmarried. Right? Not with a married woman, but he has sex with a single girl who is unmarried. So in her case, it is zina, but in his case, it is adultery. Or in this case, a married woman has sex with a single boy, a person who is not married. So in her case, it is adultery, but in his case, it is zina. All right? So in all cases, it is something that is not allowed in society because it causes disruption of the society. And especially for us in South Africa, and if you look at, and I'm not looking at the Muslims particularly, but whether it is Christianity or whether it is Islam, even Christianity says that you don't covet your neighbor's wife. Covet means what? Your neighbor's wife. That means don't have adultery and don't have premarital sex. Even Christianity says this. But why is it that we in South Africa, as a Christian country, why don't people follow the 10 Commandments? Why don't the Christians follow the 10 Commandments? Can some Christian please give me an answer in my comments? Because I find it very confusing. Because Christianity, the Bible has got some very good values in it. If you follow the 10 commandments, they are very similar to what Islam teaches. Because one of the commandments says, thou shalt not steal. Now, if the Christians in our country, and the majority of people are Christians, if the Christians in this country follow this commandment, you don't have to know the whole Bible. Even if you just learn the 10 commandments, and if you follow this commandment, thou shalt not steal, we won't have crime in this country. So why don't the Christians follow this? Can someone please explain to me why? And then another commandment says, thou shalt not kill. Yet we find Christians are murdering. We've got the highest murder rate in the world. So can some Christian please explain to me why Christians are not following the 10 commandments? Can someone please explain? Whether you're a Christian or a Muslim or an atheist, can someone please give me some understanding as to why? If the majority of people in our country are religious people, and if your religion tells you don't steal, then why are people stealing? If your religion tells you don't kill, why are people killing? If your religion tells you don't have sex, why are people having sex? We've got one of the highest HIV/AIDS rate in the world, and a majority of this is because of unprotected sex, premarital sex. And we have one of the highest rates of cervical cancer. You know how you get cervical cancer? Human papilloma virus. Why? Because our young girls are starting to have sex from the age of 12 years and 13 years. So then they're exposing themselves from a young age to HPV, and they're getting cervical cancer when they are 21 years old or 23 years old. Why? Asabli cancer. God is telling you not to do this. Why are you doing that? God is telling you don't steal. Why are you stealing? God is telling you don't kill. Why are you killing? God is telling you don't have premarital sex. Why are you doing it? Because then you're getting the cervical cancer. You're getting the HIV/AIDS. Why? I mean, if you don't have sex, you're not going to get HIV/AIDS. So that's a simple solution. Condoms is not the solution. The solution is follow what God is telling you. So why are people doing this? That's what I cannot understand. If our people in this country simply follow the 10 commandments, there's no point just remembering it. No point saying, yes, I know what the 10 commandments are. That's not going to help us. We need to implement it and fulfill it in our lives. And that is the whole point of religion. Religion doesn't mean you know the answers. Religion means, are you really applying it? So, nor come near to adultery, for it is a shameful deed, and an evil opening the road to other evils. Look after yourself. May all that is good for you come to you in great abundance and goodness. And afia, alhamdulillah, rabbil alamin.